But if serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourself today whom you will serve, whether the gods your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you are now living. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Welcome to this daily devotion. This is Series 66.6.2, because this passage comes from the book of Joshua, chapter 24, verse 15. As you might recall, our last Series 66 was also on the book of Joshua, but I had trouble choosing between the passage I used then and the passage I use today. And this one to me spoke to me very succinctly and very important, because it draws a line in the sand. This is a part of a larger speech that Joshua gives near the end of his life, talking to the people of Israel and asking them to choose. It's a reminder of God's faithfulness throughout the speech, of what God has brought them through and what God has done for them. It's also a calling for account, to turning away from other gods, from saying one thing and being another, being consistent with what they say they are and how they act. But in this particular time, as they were moving into the promised land, the people of Israel had competing allegiances to other gods. They were influenced by the communities by which they went into, and many of them were being drawn away from the God who had led them to this place, to other gods. And so Joshua was burdened with the mantle of leadership, trying to convince his people to do that which God had directed and called him to do, but having trouble and frustration. And so he calls them to account. He pleads for them to return to God. He's also drawing a line in the sand. He says, choose today. Don't wait a week, don't wait a month, don't wait until conditions are right or good, but choose today what you're going to do. And then he makes a declaratory statement. He says, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. I'm coming to you today just outside my home on my front porch. I'm sitting on a porch swing that Evan and I built a number of years ago, shortly after we moved here to Macon. It was a way for us to have a project together as father-son, but also to beautify our home. To know that our home is a place where we find rest, we find peace, we also find connection with one another, and this bench represents that. It also is a place where we can commune with God. This is a beautiful place to sit, particularly in the evening where the sun is setting, and we get to see the beauty of God. And it reminds us of our commitment daily to follow God. You also see in the background my front door. It's a way for me to remember here in this devotion that as I walked through and to my house, I have a responsibility to lead my family. And so we have chosen to serve the Lord. And so I echo Joshua's statements. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. No matter what's going on around us, no matter what the pressure is to do other things, we are going to serve the Lord. I read an interesting quote a number of weeks ago that said that church should be the excuse for other things in our life instead of the other way around. This happens a lot. When Joshua says, as for me and my house, he's telling a statement to the people, but he's also telling his family the same thing. He says, in my house, this is what we do. You've probably heard your parents say from time to time, it's my house, my rules. If you're under my roof, this is what you do. And so, how is it that we are going to do that? How are we going to enforce not just the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law? Knowing that this is the value that we hold as a people. In our family, faith is primary. Faith is the top priority in our life. And so we want that to be a lesson for our children as they go off into their own world and their own life and make their own choices. But we also want to be a witness to our community and let them know that the church and our relationship with God is of utmost importance. My friends, we've had challenges in how we practice that throughout these last several months, and I know there'll be more challenges ahead of us. But is this an opportunity for us to walk away from the church or to lean in and press into our faith? So what is it that you will choose today? Will you lead your household to do the same? As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. God bless you, and have a great day.